If marriages were 5 to 10-year contracts with options to renew if both parties accept, how would the world be different? There was a book where they essentially figured out immortality and then had to deal with a whole bunch of things. One of them was marriages. I think they actually ended up all having year limits on them. It was a good book by Drew Magary Postmortal. Side note though, my favorite book by him is The Hike. It's real weird but I loved it. You may enjoy Altered Carbon on Netflix. Our consciousness is downloaded into a small disk in the back of our necks. When our body dies, it can be transferred to a new one and we can carry on living, and you can die for real by having your little disk destroyed. The rich live for centuries and are able to have backups of their personality, so if their little disk breaks and they real die, they get downloaded from a backup and continue from their last save, so to speak. Also, while the average person may be able to pay to back themselves up, they wouldn't necessarily be able to afford a new body like the rich. Edit. Wow, didn't think this would be one of my highest comments. Love to see all the discussion about it. For anyone considering watching the show but want to know a few more details, I'll paste a comment I put earlier explaining how it works behind a spoiler wall below. There aren't any spoilers in what is below, just hidden it in case people wanted to watch it and have no detail ruined. You get your disk at age 1, disk is called DHF. It will continue to store your memories and the like, exactly as your brain would. It's essentially a backup of you, but when a DHF is removed from a body, the body ends up becoming a shell, if you like. Anyone, any sex, can be put into any body, all their memories and feelings are with them because the DHF stores all that stuff. Think of it like a computer. The DHF is your hard drive, the body is the case. You can remove your hard drive and put it into a new case and everything you've ever stored is there ready, apart from a few driver issues, which also sort of happens in Altered Carbon. It's called sleeve sick and it's the period where the body adjusts. If the PC is broken but the hard drive is intact, you can just swap the HDD into a new PC. If the hard drive is broken along with the case, you've lost everything and have to start from scratch. In Altered Carbon's situation, your DHF breaks with the body, you die for good, unless you're rich. If you are, you can afford to back up your hard drive into the cloud, which will then download your stuff into a new DHF, or hard drive, in case yours is destroyed. If you get to a ripe old age and die of old age, you can be put back into a younger body and continue on as you were. The rich would do this and can live for centuries through their DHF. This sparks the question I always have when these kind of ideas are used. Don't you actually still die? The you, in the old body, will be gone. The other you, in the new body, will be a copy of you, but not yourself. Your consciousness of the old body is dead, there's just a new you in a new body with all your memories and your personality. Is that stuff talked about in the series? It sounds interesting overall, I may watch it. Edit, didn't think there'd be so many responses to my question. I'll look through the comments when I get off work. Also, thanks for the silver, that was a pleasant surprise. I'll also definitely watch the series soon, I'm extremely intrigued now, smiley face. Not really, there's the famous two-body problem in philosophy where they talk about literal clones who have the exact same experiences and memories as the original. The issue remains, who is the real you? Is the clone any less you because it's a copy? The intuition is to say that the original is the real you, but you can see where it gets messy quick. A philosopher reconceptualized the whole question into an identity question, but his name escapes my brain at the moment. Putnam, I believe? Anyway, it's a question that has been studied by pretty smart people. Your theory is more so if you were to make a perfect copy of the boat, is it the same boat? Well no, it's a second, very similar boat. Very little debate there. Ship of thesis is if you replace the one thing, piece by piece, is it still the original? Most people with humans would argue what matters is mental continuity, because otherwise the person has basically died from their perspective, and because that is what most people represents the person themselves, it is their soul so to speak. However, cloning doesn't do that at all, as the soul isn't transferred. If it does, then it still isn't ship of thesis, as the mental continuity was never replaced, and as that ultimately is what people see as someone's existence, no replacing has occurred at all. Ship of thesis breaks down in any other situation, because the human body constantly replaces all the cells in itself daily. You're always a ship of thesis, but as your mental self appears to continue, you're never being replaced. Ship of thesis works with the ship owned by thesis because what constitutes the ship is arbitrary sentimental value. The logic that since the arbitrary sentimental value remains, is it the same ship, or is the sentimental value arbitrary enough that the ship is gone?